The tension is super high, the animosity is undeniable, and the fans are clamoring for one of the biggest showdowns in boxing. But as David Benavidez continues his relentless pursuit of a fight with the undisputed champion Saul Canelo Alvarez, the Mexican superstar seems hell-bent on avoiding the challenge. Benavidez, the rising Mexican-American star known as the Monster, has been calling out Canelo for years, demanding a shot at the pound-for-pound king. But Canelo's response has been nothing short of baffling, reportedly asking for a staggering $150–200 million purse to step into the ring with Benavidez. This has led Benavidez to unleash a scathing attack, accusing Canelo of ducking and disrespecting the fans. What I want to tell you guys is that this guy is making the most money out of everybody, charging so much for the pay-per-views, and it's like he's spitting in your faces. He doesn't care about giving you the best fights, Benavidez said, voicing the frustration of many who are desperate to see this showdown.
And what I wanted to tell you guys too, I mean, this guy, he's making the most money out of everybody. He's charging you guys so much for the pay-per-views. It's like he's spitting in your guys' face, saying that he doesn't give a fuck what you guys want. He's not gonna give you the best fights. He's gonna fight the fights that he wants. In my opinion, that's a little bit disrespectful to the fans, but he has cult-like fans that, you know, they don't tell him shit and they're happy with whatever he does. But at the end of the day, if you hold all the titles, you gotta fight the best in the division. I'm number one in the division, number one contender. The second one is David Morrell. He's not fighting me, nor he's not fighting David Morrell. So it makes no sense. How is he gonna call himself the champion and have all these belts if he doesn't fight the number one or the number two guys? So that's what I'm saying. He's disrespecting you guys. So if you guys are cool with that, then there's nothing I can say about that.
You know what Canelo said, all you bring is the extra 25 pounds. But
so then why is he asking $200 million?
And he's not alone in his criticism. Boxing legends like Floyd Mayweather, De La Hoya, Danny Jacobs, and promoter Eddie Hearn have weighed in, questioning Canelo's motives and his reluctance to face his fellow Mexican warrior. The stage is set for a war of words, and the gloves are off as the boxing world watches on, wondering if Canelo will ever come to his senses and give the fans the fight they crave. Now, let's dive into the fiery exchanges and dissect the complex dynamics at play in this high-stakes battle for supremacy. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has been outspoken about his belief that Canelo Alvarez is avoiding a fight with David Benavidez. Canelo has been ducking the David Benavidez fight, Mayweather stated bluntly. Yeah, Canelo beat a bunch of flawed paper champions, but he didn't beat the number one guy, Benavidez. Are asserting Benavidez is the number one guy in the super middleweight division, and Canelo hasn't fought him. Mayweather's comments reflect the frustration of many fans who feel that Canelo has been carefully selecting his opponents to avoid the toughest challenges, potentially tarnishing his legacy. According to the former pound-for-pound king, Canelo needs to face Benavidez to prove himself as the best in the division. In response to Mayweather's remarks, boxing promoter Eddie Hearn defended Canelo, emphasizing that the Mexican superstar is not obligated to fight who the fans want, but rather who aligns with his goals. Hearn argued that Benavidez has little to offer Canelo beyond a payday, as Canelo is focused on chasing titles and making history. David Benavidez is a great fighter, but he hasn't got anything that Canelo Alvarez wants, Hearn stated. He pointed out that Canelo has consistently fought champions in the past year and a half and dismissed any notion that Canelo would duck a fight. I feel passionate about what he is as a person and as a fighter. Having known him and worked with him, he would never duck any fighter ever, Hearn asserted, adding that Canelo only takes on fights that truly motivate him or have a significant reason behind them. David Benavidez, the man at the center of this controversy, has not minced words when it comes to Canelo's apparent avoidance. Canelo, if I have nothing to offer, then why are you demanding that you get $150–200 million to fight someone who isn't worth anything? Benavidez fired. Hopefully, after you make that $150 million, you have enough left over to buy a pair of nuts. Adding fuel to the fire, Oscar De La Hoya blasted Canelo for choosing Golden Boy fighter Jaime Munguia over Benavidez. Rather than showing gratitude for Canelo giving Munguia a lucrative fight, De La Hoya lashed out, saying, "You lined my pockets and made Jaime Munguia a solid load of money, all because you're afraid of David Benavidez. Fuck you." De La Hoya's harsh words reflect the growing sentiment that Canelo is avoiding the biggest challenges. Daniel Jacobs, who lost a unanimous decision to Canelo in 2019, also believes that Canelo is ducking Benavidez. Jacobs joins a list of boxing legends in criticizing Canelo's decision to avoid what many describe as the biggest 168-pound fight today. Jacobs remarked, "I do think he is ducking him. He looks at what Benavidez has: speed, power, athleticism. And in his mind, Benavidez is beating him." Meanwhile, Canelo has responded to these claims, asserting that he's faced top opponents throughout his career, including Erislandy Lara, Gennady Golovkin, and Daniel Jacobs. "At the end of the day, I beat practically all of them. If I beat Benavidez, they're gonna say, 'Oh, why don't you face this other guy? Look at my history. I've done everything in boxing. I've done it all,'" Canelo stated. Benavidez's frustration is very evident, as he feels that Canelo is pricing himself out of the fight, using the exorbitant purse demand as a means to duck the challenge. The young contender has been calling for the Canelo fight for years, but the champion has yet to oblige. The boxing community has been equally vocal in their reactions to the Canelo-Benavidez saga. One fan summed up the sentiment saying, "Canelo is a certified duck and a disgrace to Mexico, living off those GGG wins. David beats the brakes off of him and everyone knows it." Another fan acknowledged Canelo's accomplishments, but still felt that he was avoiding the toughest challenges. "Enough with this drained bullshit. He's a $210 guy that chooses to fight at 168, a weight which he admittedly has big problems making." The fan sentiment seems to be that Canelo is deliberately ducking Benavidez, using his status and bargaining power to avoid the fight. The consensus is that Benavidez, with his size, power, and skill, poses a genuine threat to Canelo's reign, and the champion is unwilling to take that risk. One of the key points of contention surrounding a potential Canelo-Benavidez clash is the issue of weight. Benavidez, a natural 210-pounder, has been struggling to make the 168-pound limit, a concern that has been raised by some observers. As one fan pointed out, going back down can be detrimental. Vozdik was a good test for everyone to see. The concern is that Benavidez's body may not take kindly to the grueling weight cut, potentially affecting his performance in the ring. Canelo, on the other hand, has shown the ability to move up and down in weight, fighting as heavy as 175 pounds and as light as 160. This flexibility has given him an advantage, as he can seemingly choose the most favorable weight class for his opponents. Ultimately, the Canelo-Benavidez saga speaks to a larger issue within the sport of boxing. As one fan pointed out, Canelo's not going to fight Benavidez because he doesn't like him. That's exactly why he priced himself out at $200 million. He's basically admitted on camera that he doesn't want to fight him is because he's too big. The idea that champions can handpick their opponents based on personal preferences or financial incentives has long been a point of contention in the sport. Fans want to see the best fight the best, regardless of the potential risks or rewards. As another fan noted, "If you hold all the titles, you've got to fight the best in the division. I'm number 1, and number 2 is David Morrell. He's not fighting me, and he's not fighting Morrell. How long is he going to call himself champion if he doesn't fight number 1 or number 2? With the tension at an all-time high, the question remains, will Canelo and Benavidez ever step into the ring together? Some fans believe that Benavidez may need to move up to 175 pounds and establish himself as a dominant force in the light heavyweight division before Canelo will consider the fight. As one fan astutely noted, if Benavidez is able to beat the winner of Bivol versus Beterbiev, that would certainly raise the stakes and make the Canelo fight even more enticing. The idea being that Benavidez needs to prove his mettle against the top fighters in the light heavyweight division before Canelo will take the risk. However, others argue that Canelo should be the one to make the move, as the champion, to face the challenges presented by Benavidez. As one fan put it, Canelo aged out GGG. The fight would have been huge in 2015 when Canelo vacated. Now Canelo is aging and won't fight the younger, stronger Benavidez. Ultimately, the ball is in Canelo's court. The champion has the leverage and the bargaining power to make this fight happen, but the question remains, will he take the risk or will he continue to duck the challenge posed by Benavidez? The Canelo-Benavidez saga has captivated the boxing world, with fans and experts alike weighing in on the potential clash of titans. While Canelo's camp has tried to downplay Benavidez's credentials, the young contender has refused to back down, slamming the champion for his apparent ducking tactics. With the weight and financial issues at play, it remains to be seen if this fight will ever come to fruition. But one thing is clear, the boxing community is hungry for this matchup, and they won't let Canelo off the hook until he faces the Mexican monster head-on. The stage is set, the battle lines have been drawn, and the world is watching, waiting to see if Canelo will rise to the occasion or continue to avoid the toughest challenge of his career. The Canelo-Benavidez showdown has become a litmus test for the champion's legacy. Will he solidify his place as one of the greats by taking on the toughest challenges, or will he tarnish his reputation by cherry-picking opponents and avoiding the Mexican monster? The boxing world waits with bated breath to find out. Drop your comment below. We would love to hear your take on the possibility of this bout happening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned to ensure you don't miss out on the latest boxing news. Peace out.